Today we're going to be talking about surface area and volume of prisms and cylinders. This is a quick review from grades 8 and 9 math. We're just going to go quickly over a few of the main concepts. In the grade 10 workbook, this is on page 165. So we have a right triangular prism, rectangular prism, and a cube. With the triangular prism, remember there's three types. So that would be the scalene, isosceles, and equilateral. Prisms, there's also square prisms where the end would be a perfect square, but then it's like long going back. So there's two types kind of rectangular prisms, and then a cube has all the sides are equal. Knowing this, the general formula for volume is the area of your base of your prism times the height. Remember, the base is the most identifying shape. So for a triangular prism, it's a triangle. The rectangular prism, it's a rectangle, etc. Surface area is the area of all the sides. That's fairly straightforward. Rest of these formulas on this next page, for the most part, we expect you to know, except for the parallelogram and trapezoid. We don't expect that you should have those memorized. The rest of them should be fairly straightforward. A rectangle, length times width. Triangles, 1/2 base times height. Square is size squared. Circumference, pi d or 2 pi r. Circle is pi r squared. You are in grade 10. We should expect you to be using pi. If I keep going, the surface area of a cylinder is a little bit more. I want to break it down a little bit more. So remember that formula is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. This is coming from, the 2 pi r squared is coming from having two circles. The 2 pi r h is actually the circumference. So that's my rectangle. The circumference of my circle ends up being the length of my rectangle, because that rectangle would be wrapped around, times the height of my cylinder, which is this side. So that's how we derive that formula. The volume is the area of my base times the height. So my volume is just equal to pi r squared times h. Now if you turn to page 175, I'm going to do a quick review or introduction of the surface area of pyramids and cones. So a pyramid has that square or rectangular base, and a cone is like your stereotypical ice cream cone. The next couple slides on the Google Slides goes into a little bit more in depth about these shapes. But here's our general formulas for them. So our pyramid is the area of our base, as always, plus triangular surfaces. For a cone, it's a little bit different. So to figure out that wraparound piece of our cone, we get pi r s. So if this shape is my cone, the radius, I think, is fairly intuitive. Our slant height is this distance here. And then we have our two formulas for the volume of a pyramid and cone. Again, these formulas we do not expect you to ever memorize. They will always be given to you on a formula sheet of some type. And now we're going to go on to spheres. If you turn to page 185, we go into spheres a little bit more. So the formula for a sphere, surface area is 4 pi r squared, and volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. It's really important that you're recognizing that cube piece and where that has to be a cube, because our volume is always measured in cubic units. And now if you go into the rest of the slides on Google Slides, we have a few activities seeing how the surface area and volume of these last three shapes, which are new to you, relate to each other, and kind of some interesting information on them.